So what happens here is, we are on the new topic here, we are on the argument replacement. What happens is, whenever the objects are created, the di.xml is actually resolved, and when di.xml is resolved, the object manager checks, and for this class it create the instance of this class. But ideally, let's take new example for the address of a customer. So let's say we have a customer class, and under that we have the address class, which is a dependency of this particular class loaded in constructor also. So if someone wants to change in the address class and the address should be modified, in that case they can create a preference for this, but the preferences are not that recommended. So what they can do is, they can use the argument replacement method, which will allow Magento that whenever the object of this particular class is called, it will check that there is a argument named as address, or the dependency named as address, or something in the constructor, whatever you can call it in the constructor, and it can replace it with our custom address or custom anything. So in Magento we define a tag named as type in di.xml, and under di.xml we can define the arguments, and under that we have argument. Now we can define it with the name. When my one class is called, it should be XSI, type should be string also, and between these tags I can define that whenever one is called, I should be calling two. So for example, I need the custom address class to be called, so whenever the address class is called, I can replace this argument with my custom address argument, and this will be changed in my customer class, and this will be applicable for my module, and any third-party module will not be getting affected. So the problem that we faced for the preferences is now resolved with argument replacement to a decent extent. Now if we go to the next level, argument replacement do have certain problems. For example, let's say Magento's search system. Magento's search uses various algorithms that has elastic search functionality, that has third-party searches or other searches functionalities, or they have priority ways. Let's take these examples for only understanding the concept here. Now if I use argument replacement, I have to create the physical classes for all these three, but Magento allows us one more way, which is called virtual type. With virtual types, what we can do is, we can create a virtual class and change the arguments to force Magento to load our virtual class. So let's say in Magento's core, whenever the search functioning is triggered, it has an argument which decides that which searching type should be used. Okay, and Magento has couple of searching time. We call it type 1. So with this, what Magento uses in its core is, they create a virtual type and replace this t1 with their t2 based on the settings in admin. So they use actually argument replacement for that, but they don't create the classes t1 and t2 physically. They only create the virtual classes for these, because the overall concept behind the searching is same. They are just changing the parameters. So argument replacement with the virtual class was able to satisfy this need. So we have the virtual types here, and we are going to discuss this in more details, but it's like we had object manager. To get the more functionalities, we received the preferences, then we came to certain problems, and the argument replacement helped us to resolve them. After that we came one step forward and the virtual type came into existence, which solved the problems that were pending by argument replacement, and we don't need to create any physical classes at it, as it was needed in the argument replacement. But even though whenever my class is loading, all its dependencies that are under my constructor are actually called. I mean, all these dependencies that are there in the constructor are always loaded. But let's say I create an object of my customer class and I call from its object, I only use its function 1, and function 1 is only dependent on the dependency number 3. Okay, but whenever this object is created, all these dependencies are resolved and their sub dependencies are resolved, so overall loading time of Magento was very high. So we again faced a problem and Magento came with a solution named as proxy.